Tonight is supposed to be perfect. A night of laughter, love, and good food. But perfection is a fragile thing, isn't it? One moment, everything feels just right. Warm lights, clinking glasses, and the scent of homemade Thai green curry filling the air. The next, a single moment can shatter it all. This isn't just any dinner. It's the first time Joel and I are hosting as an engaged couple. I spent the entire day making sure everything was flawless. Cleaning, arranging flowers, cooking his favorite dish from scratch. 3 years together, and I still want to impress him. We met at a conference. I was there representing my marketing firm, focused and professional, when Joel walked up to my booth. I knew immediately he wasn't interested in our services. His smile gave it away. 6 months ago, he proposed during a quiet sunset on the coast. It was simple, intimate, and perfect, just like I thought our relationship was. Amy, this curry is incredible, my friend Taylor says, helping herself to more rice. Joel, you better appreciate having a fiancé who can cook like this. Joel winks at me. Trust me, I know exactly how lucky I am. The night flows effortlessly. Our small group, Taylor and her husband Dan, Mike and Sophia, sips wine, trades jokes, and reminisces about old times. The atmosphere is light, easy, until Mike leans forward with a mischievous grin. Let's play a game. Truth or dare like we did in college. I hesitate. Aren't we a little old for that? Come on, Amy, Sophia nudges me. Live a little. It'll be fun. Joel gives me a playful smile. I'm in if you are. I shrug. Fine. But keep it reasonable. We're not 20 anymore. The dares start off harmless. Mike attempts a handstand, nearly knocking over a lamp. Taylor admits to shoplifting lipstick as a teenager. The game is innocent, until it isn't. Dan smirks, looking between me and Joel. I dare you two to swap phones for 15 minutes. No restrictions. My heart skips a beat, but I push the feeling down. Joel and I have nothing to hide. We know each other's passwords, but we don't check each other's phones. Sure, I say quickly. I've got nothing to hide. Joel hesitates. It's brief, but I see it. A flicker of something across his face. Doubt? Guilt? Everything okay? I ask. Yeah, of course. He forces a smile, passing me his phone as I hand him mine. This conversation moves on, but I can't shake the feeling. I scroll through his texts, work messages, chats with me, fantasy football banter. Nothing unusual. I glance up at Joel. He's staring at my phone. His expression darkens, his jaw tightening. Joel? I say softly. He doesn't respond. The room feels colder. Taylor is laughing, balancing a spoon on her nose, but Joel is silent. Joel. I try again, louder this time. What's wrong? He finally looks at me, and what I see in his eyes makes my stomach drop. Hurt, confusion, anger, all directed at me. Across the table, she serves dessert, flashing me that small, intimate smile meant only for me. 6 months engaged, yet my heart still stutters when she looks at me. Then Mike suggests a game of truth or dare. I agree without hesitation. I've got nothing to hide. Amy hesitates, but eventually nods. The game starts off innocent. When it's my turn, I pick truth and confess to using Amy's face cream once for a bad sunburn. Laughter erupts, and Amy playfully rolls her eyes, saying she already knew. Then Dan suggests the phone swap. My stomach tightens. Not because I'm hiding anything, but on principle. Phones are personal, an extension of our private thoughts. But then I remind myself, this is Amy. We trust each other. So I agree. She hands over her phone without a second thought. The lock screen is a picture of us at the beach, the moment I proposed. I enter her passcode, her mom's birthday, and begin scrolling. Her messages seem ordinary. Her mom discussing wedding venues, her sister sending baby pictures, co-workers chatting about a marketing project. But then I see it. A text thread with Chris, her co-worker, eerily empty for someone she talks about often. A feeling gnaws at me. I open the recently deleted folder. Maybe it's instinct, maybe it's fate. And there they are, dozens of messages. My throat tightens. I read one. Can't stop thinking about yesterday. Another Joel's working late Thursday. Come over. Then, what we're doing is wrong, but it feels so right. I've never felt this way before. Each message lands like a punch to my gut. My hands tremble. The room fades into the background as I keep scrolling, unearthing a betrayal. Years in the making. I stand abruptly. My chair scrapes against the floor. Silence blankets the room. All eyes turn to me. Amy's voice wavers. Joel, what's wrong? I look at her, really look at her, and wonder if I ever knew her at all. My voice is steady but cold. If Chris is just a co-worker, then why are you telling him you can't stop thinking about him? Why are you inviting him over when I'm working late? Gasps ripple through the room. Dan looks down. Mike and Sophia exchange nervous glances. I start reading the messages aloud. My voice rises with each one. Amy jumps up, reaching for the phone. Joel, please stop. I can explain. Explain what? I yank the phone out of her grasp. Explain how you've been cheating on me while planning our wedding. Explain how you've been lying to my face every single day. Tears spill down her cheeks, mascara streaking. It's not what you think, I scoff. Not what I think. I scroll to another message and read it aloud. Sometimes I imagine what life would be like if I had met you first. The room is deathly quiet. Taylor shifts in her seat. Dan stares at his drink. Mike and Sophia look like they'd rather disappear. I exhale sharply and meet Amy's pleading gaze. It's over. She shakes her head violently. Joel, please, we can work through this. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Give me back the ring. She blinks. What? The ring. I want it back. Everyone watches as Amy's trembling fingers work the diamond engagement ring off her hand. She holds it out to me, her hand shaking. I take it, slipping it into my pocket. 3 years, I say quietly. 3 years, and I never once looked at another woman. Never wanted to. I thought you felt the same. I grab my jacket and head for the door. Before leaving, I turn back one last time. I hope he was worth it. Then I'm gone. Hours later, I'm on my sister's couch staring at my phone. 12 missed calls from Taylor, 8 from Sophia, countless texts. I can't bring myself to read any of them. Amy's tried calling me 27 times. Every call goes straight to voicemail. Every text remains unread. She's blocked. On my phone, email, Instagram, even LinkedIn. It's like she never existed. 3 days pass before I return to our shared apartment to pack. My hands shake as I push the key into the lock. The door swings open, and I find Joel methodically placing books into boxes. You're here, he says, his voice flat. No warmth, no anger, just emptiness. Joel, please, we need to talk. There's nothing to discuss. He tapes a box shut. I'm taking my things. You can keep the furniture. I've found a new place. I step closer, but he moves away. I made a list of what I'm taking. You can check it if you want. I don't care about the stuff, I whisper. I care about us. He finally looks at me. His eyes are bloodshot but dry. There is no us anymore. It was a mistake, I plead. A terrible, awful mistake. But we can work through this. People make mistakes. They fix them. He cuts me off. Was it just emotional or was it physical too? Silence stretches between us. I could lie, but I've done enough damage with lies. It was physical. He nods, as if he already knew, but the pain that flickers across his face is fresh. A wound I just deepened. I need you to leave while I finish packing. Joel, go. I stand there, frozen, watching him pack as if I'm not even in the room. Finally, I turn to leave. At the door, he calls my name. For a moment, hope flares in my chest, but he's just holding out his key. I take it, our fingers not even brushing. Then he turns away, and I close the door behind me. A week later, I see Chris. My heart races. I don't know why. Hey, I force a casual tone. Can we talk? He shifts uncomfortably. Look, Amy, what happened between us was great, but what? I'm not looking for anything serious. I thought you understood that. I stare at him. You told me you were falling in love with me. He shrugs. I said a lot of things. We both did. And then he walks away. Reality crashes over me. I threw away a man who wanted forever, for someone who just wanted the thrill. My phone lights up. A message from my sister. How are you holding up? I start typing I'm fine, but delete it. Instead, I type the truth. I lost everything. And it's all my fault. In that moment, I know, whatever he's found, everything is about to change. Open the door to find Amy's parents standing there. Joel, her father, shifts uncomfortably. We need to talk. I shake my head. I'm sorry. But no. I've made it clear. I need space. She's our daughter, her mother pleads. She's devastated. She made a terrible mistake, but she loves you. I've asked for no contact. And that includes family, I say, closing the door before they can argue further. Immediately I text Mike. Amy's parents just showed up at my apartment. This is getting weird. His reply is quick. Document it. Date. Time. What they said. Mike has always been the logical one in our group. I take his advice. 2 days later, Amy is at the coffee shop near my office. The next day, she's outside the building where I have my therapy appointment. You need to talk to someone, he says. Legally. The next day, I meet with an attorney. She listens intently, reviewing the documentation I've gathered. Based on what you've described, you have grounds for a restraining order, especially with the workplace incident. The workplace incident. Even now, thinking about it makes me cringe. Amy showing up at my design firm during a client meeting, pleading tearfully in front of my colleagues and an important client. Security. Had to escort her out while she screamed that she just needed 5 minutes of my time. My boss was sympathetic but firm. Handle this, Joel, he had said. We can't have scenes like that here. Filing for a restraining order feels surreal. I never imagined I'd need legal protection from the woman I once planned to marry. But the process is straightforward. I organize my evidence, texts, emails, voicemails, witness statements from coworkers, friends, even the barista at my coffee shop who confirmed Amy had been asking about my schedule. The judge grants a temporary order within days. The hearing for the permanent order is set for the following week. Her lawyer argues, my client made mistakes, but she poses no threat to Mr. Mitchell. This is simply a case of poor communication during an emotional time. My attorney presents our evidence methodically. 43 phone calls in 3 weeks. 7 texts after being asked to stop. Naira emails. Appearances at my gym, my office, my therapy sessions. Statements from witnesses describing her increasingly erratic behavior. When the judge asks Amy why she ignored my explicit request to stop, she breaks down. I just love him so much, she sobs. I made a mistake, and now I'm being punished forever. The judge exhales. glancing at me, then back at Amy. Ms. Reynolds, love does not justify harassment. Based on the evidence presented, I am granting a 1-year restraining order. He lays out the terms: no contact of any kind, no third-party communication, and a strict 500-foot distance from my home and workplace. That night, in my apartment, I delete all the photos of Amy from my phone. I don't need them as evidence anymore. I don't need them at all. My new place is small, half the size of the apartment Amy and I once shared. But I had to find something quickly. When your life collapses, you don't get to be picky. It's been 6 months since the restraining order. 6 months of whispered office gossip. 6 months of Mike taking the long way around to avoid my desk. Last week, our department head reassigned him after he requested not to work with me anymore. It's creating a toxic work environment. I overheard our boss say to HR, "Last month, I was up for a promotion to senior marketing manager. My portfolio was stronger than Ryan's. My client retention numbers were higher. But in the final meeting, Davis looked me in the eye and said, 'We need someone whose judgment we can trust implicitly.' Ryan got the promotion. I got to keep my job, which honestly was more than I expected. My phone barely rings. Taylor, a friend from college, sent a single text on my birthday. Happy birthday. No emojis. No plans to meet up. Sophia blocked me on Instagram after I commented on a picture of her at dinner with Joel and his new girlfriend. Dating? A lost cause. I tried the apps. The first guy, Brian, seemed promising, until he excused himself during dinner, Googled me, and saw the headlines. Local marketing executive served with restraining order. He left me with the check. 3 similar experiences later, I deleted all the apps. Even my parents are distant. Mom calls once a week, but our conversations are stilted. Dad barely speaks when I visit. "We raised you better than this," he said last time. Cheating is bad enough. Harassment is another level entirely. Even my therapist sighs a lot during our sessions. "Amy," she said yesterday, "you're still minimizing your actions. You repeatedly violated someone's boundaries. That's not love. That's control. But if Joel had just talked to me, he was clear about his boundaries. You chose to ignore them. Some days I still feel anger toward Joel. He didn't have to make such a big deal of everything. He didn't have to tell everyone. He didn't have to involve lawyers. If he had just listened, just given me 5 minutes to explain. I saw on LinkedIn that he moved to Seattle last month. New job, new city. His profile picture shows him on a hiking trail, smiling. I shouldn't have. But I clicked on his Instagram. He looks happy. There are photos with a tall blonde woman. His caption calls her remarkable. Today would have been our wedding day, June 12th. I took the day off because I knew I couldn't fake being normal. The weather is perfect exactly, as I'd imagined when we picked the date. I sit on my tiny balcony, sipping champagne I bought anyway. I had pictured us toasting as husband and wife. Instead, I'm alone, scrolling through the wreckage of my life. No fiancé, no real friends. A career at a standstill. A reputation in ruins. I did this. Not Joel. Not bad luck. Not misunderstandings. Me. My choices. My lies. My refusal to accept consequences. I set my phone down and look at myself. Really look, perhaps for the first time in months. This isn't a love story with a rough patch. This is the story of how I destroyed my own life because I wanted something I shouldn't have and couldn't handle losing what I had. The wedding invitation still hangs on my fridge, a relic of a future that will never exist. I take it down, fold it carefully, and finally throw it away.